Welcome to Helper, Utah, and another photo adventure.
Look at that little old mannequin. Creepy.
Creepy. It's like tourist traps.
Yeah, it is. What about these towns do you like? Like, why do we always end up in these small towns off the beaten path and not in the Disney worlds of the world?
You see stuff that you wouldn't see anywhere else.
Like what?
I don't know, look at this main street. It's unique.
That is very true.
And you meet really nice people usually. Sometimes you meet really mean people.
Yeah, like the gentleman that we encountered in Thistle.
Mm-hmm.
He was nice, but he was like...
He was angry.
He was very angry. He was at his wit's end. He was like, I thought you were on the other side of my fence. So I was going to call the cops on you while I dealt with this guy. I was like, I'm not on the other side of your fence, man. I'm on the right side of the law. That's crazy, like how young some of the coal miners were. Like, obviously that's kind of, I think, just a staged picture. Like, they weren't that young. But I remember when we were in this railroad museum, there were like kids in there, what, like early teens?
There was kids in there that were like 9 or 10.
Yeah. Well, that kid is not 9 or 10.
No, that kid's like...
I like that little filling station. That's cool.
Cute.
That's...
Ice cream, hot dogs, soda pop.
That's a cool painting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, the little koi fish.
Oh, that's super cute.
Reminds me of It. But it's a lumberjack in It.
Yeah.
Man, John, you're huge. And of course, what type of town would you be without Jesus? Especially in small town America. We missed church services by
A whole day.
whole day. Another
Cabinet shop?
It's a cool old tow truck. No, I went like this.
Oh.
He went like that to me, so I gave him a peace sign back. Hi. Good, how are you? That's cool. Huh? What? Oh, here comes the train. Little free library.
Oh, I read these books as a kid. I think I had this very one.
Hold that real quick. Pending list price. Oh, these are all the homes around here for sale. This is your one real estate agent because they don't need more than one. Oh, this is not even just here. This is all over the place. Price. Helper. Thistle. What books are in there?
Mostly kids' books. I think I read this one. And if I read that one, I definitely read this one. Fun.
Oh, look at that old cool TV, man. That's
I wish
sweet.
this store was open.
I know.
Look at these sweaters. I want that sweater right there. That would fit me. Hey, open up. We're coming in.
It's closed. This is for lease. Let's just buy this thing.
Okay.
Oh, look at that old Harley Davidson ad.
That's cool.
As I hit my camera into the and
Nice.
that's one thing you need to get better at, Marcus. You're terrible, literally terrible at being self-aware of your surroundings. Oh, cool. It's an old.
I think they're open.
Oh, are they?
Mm-hmm.
I think they are. Wow. Oh, those are awesome.
How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Have you been here before?
We have not. We're just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all my brother's stuff. We used to build these and sell them a long time ago. They're just on display now.
Cool.
You and your brother built these?
Yeah, a long time ago. When I had hair.
You still have hair.
Yeah, that was back in like the 90s.
Wow, that's cool.
The other one, they only made like 26 of those. That's 1945. They were mostly making army bikes in 1945.
Oh, yeah.
So the reason we're into all these Harleys is because of that picture. That's my dad. He was in Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941 when Pearl Harbor got blown up.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, he was an Army guy that day.
Oh, yeah, right? Not a Navy guy.
Got wiped out that day. But he's riding, go, wait a minute, if the war started in Pearl Harbor, how come he's already had an Army bike there in Pearl Harbor? They started making these in like 1940, so that's why he was riding one of those around when it got blown up that day. But Harley made 66,000 of these with enough spare parts to make 99,000.
Wow.
So I asked my dad, where all these Army bikes go after the war? I don't see 100,000 of these. He goes, yeah, it was our job to push them into the ocean along with the Jeeps after World War II. They didn't bring them back. This survived because it was clear in Australia, and some guy's barn, he had like a dozen of them.
Oh, so this is like original.
Yeah,
Oh,
this,
cool.
this one came, you had to get a shipping container and then get it back to the United States. But
Wow.
this only got like 12,000 miles on this one.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
Did your dad serve, like, so he was at Pearl
Yeah, he
Harbor,
was-
but did he get shipped off to like the...
Yeah, see that helmet thing? He was in a tank after that. He had
Oh,
a big
wow.
machine gun guy on a tank, so I had to wear those inside of a tank. He goes, yeah, it's hot inside of there. They don't have air conditioning.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
But like, yeah, they trained him to drive these 30 miles an hour. So picture going 30 miles an hour, and then you're supposed to dump them on its side because you got these crash bars. You can lay it down, take that machine gun out. You're supposed to shoot over the side of the bike because that's armor plating.
Oh, wow.
Then you figure, oh, here's a first aid kit if you get cut or something. It doesn't have Band-Aids. It says cover protective individual, and the date's 1944 December. And you go, okay, well, what does this cover do? When you pull that thing, it says, no, this cover is to protect you against sprayed blister gases.
Oh, wow.
So if you didn't want to have blisters forever, you got to put that on.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
But you kids are safe now because I'm sure they outlawed that poison.
We hope, right?
They didn't have soft blankies like you have now. Those are those scratchy wolf.
Oh, is that that
Terrible
wool
ones.
stuff? Oh, yeah.
They'll keep you warm, but
Then that metal plaque over there says, hey, don't go over 65 miles an hour because you're going to overheat the engine. And you figure, well, yeah, I guess there's a lot of junk out here you're carrying. There's a bicycle pump, hand grenades, all this stuff. But on the front fender, there's this big box. You imagine what that weighs filled with lead machine gun bullets.
Oh, yeah, no
So
kidding.
I guess it would start weighing a lot.
Oh, yeah. And this one was in Australia?
Yeah. I mean,
How did you guys
so,
track
yeah.
that down?
Well, some guy went out there. He goes, you guys want some of those army bikes? And we're going, really? He goes, yeah, they're just old army bikes, all complete. I'll show you the pictures of them. We got it just 100% all there. Dig them out of here. This is what it looked like we got it from Australia. See that tail light's a civilian tail light, so the guy would put like 12,000 miles on it. But that's the correct army ones I had to put back on there.
oh wow.
Those are the blackout lights, but see, it had all this junk on there. And it's like, it was all old army bike. And so, yeah, this thing wasn't fun to be assigned to drive one of these. Now,
Oh, I
picture
bet.
if you were in Germany and they said, okay, you guys get on that thing, start going down Main Street in Germany, man. Now you're the perfect target for some sniper to shoot
No
you up.
kidding.
You wouldn't want to be going 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so that's what was scary.
Oh.
I think they said the courier guys use these a lot. So you're not trying to talk on walkie-talkies all day because you give away your position. So these guys would go way up front, and they'd go, whoa, there's some tanks coming down the road. So they'd float back and report and all this stuff. But you didn't want to get in fights with these guys either because, like I said, they had like boxes of ammo.
Or ammo on the front,
more
yeah.
than you'd have on your little clip on your belt. You know? It's like,
Yeah, man.
weird?
That's crazy.
That's
Weird,
wild.
but- so the different engines are these. If you see anything with fins on the top of the engine, those are flathead motors, the primitive. Then these are more valuable on knuckleheads. They call these knuckles because it looks like they're knuckles.
Oh, yeah.
So those are 1947. That's the last year knucklehead. Then in 1948, went to this red bike over here. It's called a panhead. Looks like mommy's cooking pans on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's 1948, the first year, but it's also the last year of these Springer front ends. Because in 49, they went to that kind of front end on that white cop bike over there.
Oh, that's cool. It's got the little...
Yeah,
Well, this one does too.
sidecar on
I'd
there.
love to have a sidecar, put our dogs in there.
Yeah, they would like riding in there. Yeah, this is, I'll show you what they use these for. You see these guys, they're called server cars.
Uh-huh.
These were the most expensive Harleys. I don't care if you had a Harley with a sidecar bolted on it. These were more money. So these have 3-speed stick shifts with reverse. And I'll show you a picture of how to use these things. Now look how that's hooked onto a car bumper.
Oh yeah.
Now wait a minute. If it's the most expensive Harley,
why are you towing it around?
Well, that's because gas stations all had these. So if he says, hey, could you tune up my Buick? The gas station guy goes, okay, get your car running. Then he hooks this on there. Gets on their car. He drives it to your house. He gets out, unhooks his 3-wheel. He rides it back to the gas station. That's why it's a speedy pickup.
Oh.
So when we had these bikes, this is how we got them. Just clear out some muddy farmer guy's yard.
Oh, damn.
You could see the pictures of it. It was all there, but my brother had to pound out all the dents. And the fenders and all and paint this thing because it can't really find parts of this too much. So this one's 1947. It was after World War II, so they made lots of these after the war. So you figure, oh, you could ride on here. It's a nice foam rubber seat, but it's not foam rubber. It's horsehair inside of it.
Oh, really?
And then that's where you put your registration so cops can come by and flip that thing and see who it was back in those days. But see, they quit making these because of that car right there. Go, what do you mean? There's no back bumper on it. So how are you supposed to tow one of these? They didn't have bumpers like this in '73. Everything started to be plastic.
Yeah, no kidding.
So that's why they quit making those things. Oh. But yeah, this was built 1906.
So have you guys always like lived here in town, or?
We grew up in Connecticut. Me and my brother, we moved out here. I just moved here not this May, but last May by the Conoco station. My brother's doing all these buildings on Main Street.
Oh,
he's doing them all.
Awesome.
And so we did the gas stations. And yeah, this is that cop right here we're looking at. See this one here? I keep this one on a charger so little babies can flip on the lights.
Oh, that's cool. How neat.
That's awesome.
This is 1968. First year fiberglass sidecar. All these other ones are metal.
Oh, you really know your bikes.
Drive like a truck. All these got stick shifts.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, I can't imagine like.
And then you see this little pedal. Put your foot on that pedal and go, what's that do? It's supposed to make that rub on the tire, and that's the siren.
Oh, really?
So the faster you go, the louder
the siren gets.
As a cop car, once you get going.
Holy cow.
Isn't that weird? Here's another last year Knucklehead 1947. It's got the stick shift on it. Weird stuff.
So you guys go drive any of these ever, or you just use them as museum pieces?
When we fixed them up, but they're all, that's like totally restored every inch of it.
Wow.
So this is all parts we used to get years ago, because now if you want one of these pistons in the box, you gotta get on eBay.
Oh yeah.
But see, before you could have walked into an antique store and a girl goes, oh, I'll sell you one of those Harley boxes. But now they're not going to sell to. They put it on eBay so they get the highest bidder for all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
More. But see, this picture here is this building. So if you're not from around here, you go outside, that's still on the building where it says 50 cents for a room. But
I pointed that out to him.
But that's way more money up there now.
Do you guys still rent it out?
Yeah, that's 1937. Upstairs is the Lincoln Hotel. It's like an Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
And so this thing was in a box. 1946, so it would have car batteries for sale. Look what a car battery cost 1946.
Oh.
Then look how long they guaranteed it for.
6 months.
Yeah, they go, what do you want for like $7? You can't even get a Subway sandwich price for that now.
Yeah, no kidding.
But like, see, in the 1920s, this was a silent movie theater. 1930s, it's the Elp Hotel. 1940s, it changed to the Lincoln Hotel. Then if you were here in the 70s, this is where your kids would be partying. It was Lincoln's. They had this thing, it's called Lupo's Lounge, the point after. So everybody had their steak dinners and partied in here. Well, when it was that time in the 70s, all these walls were covered up with that fake wood paneling. So nobody's seen this sign because it was covered up. Now, me and my brother put this wood around it, but you got to read the rules to this place. Takes an hour, but read that.
Wow.
10 hours of dress.
Yeah. Meals will be served as follows. Look how they rated red like they're pissed. You got to read that.
Yeah. One meal.
One meal. And then we might give you another one, but it's going to be 8 hours later. You know, and that's how they're talking. Then they get mad again. This is only an emergency station. You are requested to keep moving towards your destination as soon as possible. It says persons checking in for the night will be called to make trains. You go, what do you mean? The train station's 2 blocks down the road. So when back in the big stock market crash in 1929, like 30s, like everybody was poor. And so these hobo guys would jump off the train and they go, hey man, I know we could get some free food at the emergency station.
Oh.
And we get some rest over there. And this sign is telling the hobos, yeah, we'll give you a couple meals, but you can't eat 2 meals and run right back on the train. You could have 1 meal. If you're still here 8 hours later, I'll give you another meal. And you could rest for 10 hours, but then after 10 hours, the last sentence says, I'm going to call your name until you get back on the train. Now, back in those days, all you needed was 50 cents to hang out up there. They didn't even have 50 cents during the Depression.
Oh, yeah.
So it was sad. So these gas stations, that's straight up the road.
Yeah, we've seen that. We walked from that way.
Okay. So, this is an Airbnb where it says Western Auto. Did you see the cars in these bays?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I got to explain why that car's in there. This one in this bay is a green convertible. But before I tell you that, this thing is the picture of this guy that built this building. That was taken in 1900.
Oh my gosh.
And you go, why aren't the little babies smiling in that picture? Well, Mark Twain, the poet, said if you smiled in those days, you were considered to be a clown. And so that's why they didn't smile.
Oh, yeah.
In 1949, the guy that owned the Conoco had this kid. This kid graduates from school, so daddy buys him this car for graduation. It's a 1949 Buick Super 8 convertible.
Oh, wow.
Now, that kid grows up and he had a daughter that married the movie star Michael Landon. Now you go, who's Michael Landon? That's that guy in the TV show Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Had long hair. Then he was in Highway to Heaven. He was in Little Joe and the Bonanza Cowboy shows back in the day. That was before your time.
Just a touch.
But that car is all original. It's not that shiny if you look in there. But it's never been restored either. So when we were building that gas station, fixing it all up, that car wasn't just sitting in there. One of the workers go, hey man, there used to be a cool car sitting in here years and years ago. So my brother goes, oh, it would be fun if we could have found that. And the guy goes, but I know where it is. It's in Carbonville. You know where Carbonville is?
Yeah.
It's right down the road. So we said, get in the truck. Let's see if you know what you're talking about. Knock on the door. This big cowboy named Rex Sacco comes out. And he goes, oh, you guys are restoring that Conoco station in Helper. He goes, I got a car that came out of there. He goes, when I got out of Vietnam War, that car was sitting in the bay for sale. He goes, if you're going to put it back in there, I'll sell it to you. My brother had to pay $50,000 for that car. And he goes, yeah, it runs. I didn't try starting it or nothing, but I believe that it runs because remember I told you the guy that owned the gas station bought it for his kids, so they maintain that thing.
Oh, yeah.
You click the door shut with one finger on that car.
Holy cow.
So one of these days we'll get a battery and get it running and stuff because you look under it, you can tell nobody played around with anything.
Oh, wow.
It was so shiny.
That's awesome.
And like, you like cars, there's old cars in here. This is from Helper, Utah. This truck's the first year GMC, 1936. It was in the Veltri drugstore back in the day. But it wound up in Price, Utah. The guy that had that, he's a Krakow Chrysler dealership. He just passed away. He's kind of old guy. And his daughter goes, I want you guys to have this truck. So we bought it off of her. And her dad had the engine to it in here, so we sent the engine to get rebuilt in Price. And we'll put it back in here, but it's just old GMC. It's all original. Like, see, look, they didn't even have signal lights on these things. They had just one brake light over on that side. That's how primitive this truck was. You see that? That's not a light. That's just a reflector. So you wouldn't frame into it at night. Can you imagine how bright this one little light is on the back?
Oh, I'm so sure.
That's how old that is. There's no signal. It's all original gauges. I cleaned it up in there, but it's just old, long.
What year was this?
1936.
Ooh.
So it's original paint and everything. But see, this guy must have kept it inside his thing forever, because something from the 30s would have been all rotted out, but this ain't that
Yeah, no
rotted out.
kidding.
It's weird how old it is. Then these are your Corvettes. This one's got a disc brakes on it, Summit Racing Stroker 383 in it instead of a 283. So that's got like 430 horsepower. If you look at these other ones, this one here's got the history of that black car right here. If you take a second, you see all this dirt and everything on there?
Oh, yeah.
Some guy's barn thing. I had to scrape all that dirt off. That's the same paint under all that dirt.
Wow.
But look how long it was stored for.
47 years.
You were on Earth.
Yeah.
So in '66, that's what that blue car is. They took one of those kind of motors and put it in here. So this has a powerful
this interior is
stingray
so cool.
It's just the old 4-speed car. So now it's got the traction bars. It has rocket pinion steering added to it. It has disc brakes on the front now. See these white header pipes? If you want it to be loud, you're supposed to uncap those. But now, instead of you having to do it, there's a switch under there that does it with a motor now.
Oh, wow.
In the old days, you had to take a wrench. And then this is your 1931 Ford Woody wagon. Yeah, she wants to go around and hear what this horn sounds like. It took me 2 days to restore just that horn. And you'll hear how loud it is to get cows out of the road in 1931. Yeah.
Oh, so the horn works?
Yeah, so if you
Go
go
press
the
the horn.
steering wheel, there's a black button in the steering, right in the middle of the steering wheel. Now play on that thing and you'll see how loud it is.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, that's awesome.
There's cows out of the road. Now you go, what's all these yellow lights? Well, I had to put signals on it. You want to drive this thing out on the road, you were supposed to stick your hand out the window back in those days. So that's why up high you got those truck lights up there, so at least it has signal lights now.
Yeah. It's crazy how small it is in there.
I had these because you can't have these out in the road. Now imagine the winter if snow got on this thin wood.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like really thin. It would all get warped out. The floors are all wood. See this kind of material? We bought a big roll of that. We're gonna put to cover the wooden floors up with. But
Oh, yeah, man.
look how much wood's up in there.
The
now.
roll up
Yeah,
vinyl
roll up air
windows.
conditioning. They didn't even have a heater.
That's a whole new look at roll the window up.
Yeah, no joke.
Well, look, it gets too hot. You'll push this out even more, and the air just goes right out. And
Oh.
That's cool.
That's where you got to put the gas clear up there.
Oh, wow.
You have to climb up on there, I guess, to get it in there.
I've been to a lot of car shows and I've never seen a car like this.
It's an old Woody, 1931. See, but it's only got a little 4-cylinder engine in it. But back in the day, 1932 came out with the V8. You want to see what it's like when those motors are running. This is an old-fashioned hood. It just goes on a hinge like this.
Oh, wow.
And then you lift this up and just lay it down. And then there's your spark plugs. Look how easy it is to
Yeah,
change the
look how
spark
simple.
plugs. Yeah. And then spark plug wires never go bad because it's one piece of metal going to it, so it's never going to wear out. The only wire you see is that thing for the battery charger. I got it charging up.
Yeah.
The air cleaner, it doesn't even have one on this thing.
That's
Your
crazy.
little fuel deal here, lets the fuel go in there. So when you get in the car, you got to turn a valve that lets gas come down into the carburetor from this tank. So it's all gravity. So the gas just comes down out
Oh, so
here.
there's no fuel
There's
pump?
no fuel pump to replace. So tell me if that's not efficient.
Wow.
But there's not much power because it's only a little
Four-cylinder. Yeah, can you imagine going cross country in this thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the cooling system? Like,
Yeah, it's just got that propeller. I think it's like 2 blades on this as a whole.
wow.
So those other pictures we had of the other car, it was a convertible, 1931 Ford convertible. And like, that car is in price right now, getting a flathead V8 put in it, so when you come back next time, there'll be this hot rod car kind of sitting in here.
Nice.
These are all more those 3-wheelers. See how this one has the hitch on it?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
supposed to open that, let it swing forward, clamp on a car. This one came from California. It was in Provo. Look at the grass still on the front.
Wow.
It was in a field in Provo, Utah. This is your old hot rod kind of stuff. That's 1968 motor, 1950s frame and gas tank. The pinstripes are done by that guy out there, Bo Huff Jr.
Oh, I know who
Yeah.
you're talking about. His dad died a couple years back.
Yeah. This looks all dirty and you can tell little kids are touching it, but this one's clean. It's one of those shiny fat boys. So Arnold Schwarzenegger used these kind in the
Terminator movies?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is what I'm doing today, going, what are you doing? Put this big black thing in here so this could have modern air conditioning. This was an air car, but it had this big, giant, heavy duty thing under here. Now, you look up here and all there is a flat plate. See these plates where the hoses come through?
Oh, yeah.
A big, giant unit here for air conditioning, so it makes it more compact, you know? Now
Wow.
we got to get a new 427. This is the first year 427 car for Corvette. It was 1966. So now we'll get a brand new GM guaranteed 450 horsepower 427 for this. Then I get finished putting all these air conditioning hoses where all they got to go on the new engine and get this engine out. Oh, yeah, weird.
You're a busy guy.
But this is a rare car because of the options. When back in the day when kids like you got a car, they didn't want an air conditioner because it slowed down the engine. No cars hardly had air back then. So this one's rare because it had air conditioning and it was still a big 427, but it wasn't the highest horsepower. So this had 390 horsepower. If you had a 427 with 425 horsepower, they wouldn't let you have an air conditioner because the engine went so fast, those fan belts would fly off the engine with an air conditioner.
Oh
So
my gosh.
that's why they said, oh, well, we'll let you have one with 390 horsepower. And by the way, the car comes with 308 gears in the back, not 411s or something that goes fast because they didn't want the fan belt to
Fly off.
So that's what's rare. It's got power windows, power steering. It's got telescopic steering, 2 tops. Now, this is every single part to build the Harley Davidson is all organized. There's a different, your Harley sirens, stick shifts, and your kickstands. Remember those red lights on that cop bike? These are
Yeah.
still in the boxes.
Wow.
Police radios for Harleys. Shock absorbers, carburetors. Okay, this is where the speedometers go. This is called the skull dash. Looks like a human skull.
Yeah.
1938. Well, 1939 they went to the cat's eye dashboard. So when police guys come down, I tell them, you guys had the most special speedometer. See, here's a police one. It says police special. You go, what's so special? Well, see, this has a little dummy plate bolted on here. The cop ones have this electrical deal with a wire coming off it. So if he's speeding, the cop on the Harley pushes a button, sends current to that thing, and it locks the needle in place. So he'll say, get out of the car, check it, dude, you're doing 80 miles an hour. Now, when this sets in here, see how there's a little plug? The cop ones have the plug popped out. So the cop ones have a little button, that brass button that pushes that, makes it a normal speedometer when you push it from the side.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
That's like
Yeah,
old school radar.
Radar. There's your floorboards and oil tanks and gas tanks and chain guards and your these things you don't see in the Harleys up there. They were on the Army bike, but they go on those crash bars. So if you put those on like a day like today, it's nice and freezing out. If you have to ride your Harley to work, it keeps your legs from getting freezing cold. But if you left that on in the springtime, it would overheat the engine. So that's why you don't see guys leaving those on there. Tons of old parts, and there's your starter pedals and handlebars and all different your toolboxes, brake parts, brake shoes. And then here's the things for the Army bike. There's different ones. See, this one's for M1 Grand rifles, the real tall ones. And then they had some for Thompson machine guns. That's your Indian seats. This is girl noise here. Go, what do you mean? It's just a Harley seat. But you're supposed to take this and put it on for little babies to ride on. It doesn't bolt to anything. It just sits on where the gas tanks would be in front of that seat. Just sits on.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a one-year-only cowhide seat from Harley, and then old parts. This is made in 1906, so the floor's all dusty. I don't know if you want to come in here, but those are those tow hitches for those three-wheelers, all different clamps for all different. That's girl noise there. 1928 is how you make breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And then there's your things to tighten up to make stew or something. But it's got all these pressure relief valves on in case it gets too much pressure. But see, that little hole drill in the desk is back when kids had to dip their pens to write with. There's a little step away your baby back in the 1950s. But remember upstairs you read that sign of how to feed the homeless people?
Oh, yeah.
2 meals? That's where this thing comes in. This thing is so heavy. I swear it weighs like 50 pounds, man. You can't even lift it. I just try to put it back on the box.
Old
that's
school.
The first year Toastmaster. Guy freaked out when he seen it. He goes, that's the first commercial grade toaster. I go, yeah, it sounds like a time bomb when you turn it on. It just clicks like really loud. But that's from the Blue Hill Dairy down the street in Spring Glen. They used to deliver milk. That's what that brown thing has, all the little caps, because you would reuse the bottles instead of throwing them out every day.
Oh, look at these old
Here's
trunks.
the toys I would ride when I was a baby. Those kind of toys. They got scooters and pedal cars and trikes.
Oh, those are cute.
Little weird toys. So here's girl noise here. You go try lift. It looks like it weighs a pound, but it's heavier than it lifts. But that's how you.
Like I Love Lucy when she leaves it on his little tie and burns it.
Yeah. But back in the day, you would have to use those kind of irons to heat them up on like a fireplace or the stove.
Whew.
Oh God.
And then there's all that big cement square with the lampshade is where you put the coal. Then you shovel the coal into that big metal thing over there. That's what heated this whole building back in the 1906, I guess.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
That's crazy.
Sorry, it's all dusty.
No, dude.
Well, once we get all this antique wood out of here, we'll put a floor down here. But right now, he uses it to restore some of these old buildings. I saved that chart because I like the tread. It looks like octopus.
That's cool.
Isn't that weird? It probably isn't too quiet going down.
I'm sure it's not. How fun.
Isn't that weird? This is the oldest motorcycle in this whole building. Joe, what do you mean? Look at the brakes on it. It has this little piece of material riveted so paper thin that it's probably made out of it.
I didn't even notice that was a motorcycle, but it's the frame and everything.
Bicycle frame on
How weird.
it. Then look at the skis you guys.
I was
used
just
to
gonna
use
say the
back in the
skis.
day. They need some wax.
And the little ski sticks, whatever those are called. Those look like weapons.
Yeah, so if you come back in this way, you can see those chairs from the Blue Plate Diner unrestored. That's what they look like, unrestored chairs from Salt Lake City. They're
Oh, yeah,
same
those
color.
old ones, huh?
But if you feel one of those, they're rock hard. You go, why are they so rock hard? Well, for one thing, they're 1929. And then the next thing is they're not foam rubber either. You go, what's in there? It's like reused cotton and cotton parts and stuff is in
Oh.
the cotton.
Oh, these are cool.
Now, these are from,
When it was the hotel?
well, back in the day, before electric lights, this looks like wax.
Yeah.
That's because they actually had candles along the walls to light up when you went in your house. Well, then electricity came, so I said, let's make it look like a candle. So these would have pointy light bulbs in them. That's where they're going to go down the street. Probably these hotels. My brother's doing the Hotel New House and the Cuba Club and all that. These are really old lights. These go on the front of the buildings. They're cast iron. They weigh a ton. So you have those big white globes that'll say police or something on them. You know, that's what those are for, the big heavy lights. These kind. Yep. Then these are old Harley parts and old signs. So if you find old signs, that's where you put them down here. Yeah. But this was carved in the floor down here. You gotta read it this way. It says Harry G. Kissamatakis. April 30, 1944 was the Reese Market upstairs where the bikes are. And so the people that had that railroad museum down this street, they said, let's look up this name and see who that was. They said that was a 14-year-old boy that carved that during World War II. He said, but he had a sad life. I go, what do you mean? What happened to that kid? He goes, well, he got killed on a 3-car wreck in Los Angeles. And that's all I know about the poor kid. But at least when he was a kid in World War II, he had some fun doing that, I guess. But now, if you had to get out of here during Prohibition, that's when you weren't supposed to have liquor back in the 1920s and 30s. This had these secret tunnels. All these buildings had secret passageways.
Oh my gosh!
That's what this is, but we used it for this $50,000 water sprinkler system in case it gets too hot right here.
Wow. That's crazy.
But see, this is the old wires. See, the old wires, you're supposed to go through pieces of wood with these pieces of porcelain and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Now, modern wires have metal on, so mice and rats or whatever can't eat them.
That's so cool.
Isn't that weird?
That's awesome.
But yeah, this is the original post. But see, the government, when they inspect it, they go, you better put those on there in case this shifts or something. That's been there since 1906, you know.
Crazy.
But, so I didn't think it's going anywhere. But
Oh, man.
oh, this is your modern stuff for the Airbnb, so you have your soft water. And this chrome jump's for your air conditioning jump now.
So do you guys own the Airbnb as well?
Yeah, he lets that guy that does the post office deliveries, Mark Montoya's in charge of all that. I don't even know how much it costs to rent a room up there.
Wow.
Look how loud this is. He shut it. So now you know if somebody walks out with a Harley part.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's so weird. So you look at this box. It's supposed to clean spark plugs. It has a girl-colored pink spark plug in there. So if you want to see how weird spark plugs were when kids weren't even around, read those boxes really close. What that says, Firestone. There's a spark plug in there, but it says radioactive or plutonium.
It sure does.
And I go, they gotta be lying. You know how much expensive it costs to make those radioactive?
Yeah, no kidding.
Got a Geiger counter. I should see if it.
Yeah. It like goes off like crazy. Like.
But see, back in those days, they didn't know that junk was bad for you. I guess.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you know, they used to. I remember watches when I was a
Yep.
kid. They would light up at night. Like, I thought it was so cool. You know? So, like, you were supposed to take that handle and you just go back and forth just like that, and it fills it up to a 0 up there. Then when you take that thing, put it in your gas tank, you squeeze it. It doesn't have an electric motor. It just lets gravity let it come out that hose into your gas tank. So if it drains to a 5, that means you use 5 gallons of gas. Well, the problem is this thing's 10 feet tall. And if you had that thing filled with gas and a truck slammed into it, it would come down 10 feet, smash on the ground. And you got to figure, back in these days, everybody smoked cigarettes, so it wasn't a good day. Like, you know,
Oh, man, yeah. That's crazy. That's insane. I never even knew that about those real tall ones.
Yeah, and it's just bizarre. But see, you never get ripped off. Like, you don't know how much gas you're getting in today. But
Yeah.
you could see how much goes in because it's the gravity lets it go into your car. Now,
What happens if you don't take it all? Does it just sit up there for the next person?
Okay, yeah. So at the end of the day, there's a little valve. Like, see this right here? You lift that valve and stick the nozzle, drain.
Oh,
this thing
drains
so
it.
Nobody can steal gas at night because usually you could lock this handle up. There's a lock. There's some nobody could pump gas.
Oh yeah, at night.
It doesn't have electric motors. The only thing electric on is it lights up at night. So you can see how much
Gas you're pumping.
That's funny.
That's awesome. Well, hey Bob, thanks very much for talking with us.
Out here, I wish he was open because you'd like going in that store.
Yeah, we'll have to come back out again.
Yeah, we'll stop by again. So,
Okay.
hey, you be safe. Nice seeing you. Have a good one.
Bye, kitty.
Bye, kitty.
That guy was funny.
Yeah, that guy was really nice. He was like full of knowledge. It was like a free museum tour without
Yeah.
having to pay.
And then he didn't want to sell us anything.
I know, he's like, you don't gotta buy nothing. They have an old school Terminator. Oh man, I want that. That thing's awesome.
Oh, the theater?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, he said at the Rio.
Right?
Uh-huh. There goes our car.
Look at that.
Oh, that's cool. Every horror you've seen on the screen grows pale beside the horror of the black scorpion.
Are you hungry? It's 5 o'clock.
That's true. Do you want
Yeah. Small town cooking. And sadly, Lacey can't have her scone. How do you feel about that, Lacey?
I feel pretty sad about that. I feel pretty sad.
It has gotten quite cold since we went in that restaurant.
Yep.
Over there. But did you have fun?
I had a blast.
I had a blast as well. It was small town hospitality at its finest here in Helper, and I keep wanting to say Heber, Utah. And now I'm like shaking violently holding this camera. So it is so cold out here. It's freezing. And actually it's not even that cold. What you think it's probably
In the 30s.
That's a cool little studio. Good drums, piano. And Jepson's Fine Arts. Cool. But yeah, we're getting the hell out of here because it's freezing. So we'll see you guys all on the next adventure. Goodbye.